As it is, animating inside of After Effects is relatively straightforward. But if you want to really get your lazy on, there is this little stopwatch right here that will enable something called auto keyframes. What we can do with this is we can modify anything we're moving and it will add the keyframes for us. So I have a scene here. This is a Mage Tower model that I created inside of Maya 15,000 years ago. And in the background, I have this footage, kind of scary, right? My neighborhood, that's where I live. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a solid and we're going to create a quick moon and we're going to auto keyframe that moon, probably like moving slightly across the scene. So to do that, I'm going to go to the layer menu and we'll create a brand new shape. All right, so we're going to go to a shape layer and we're going to just draw out a shape like so. And we can come over here and we can change that shape if we want to do something else. So I can go ahead and choose a rectangle or a circle or whatever I want. And I can always get rid of the other shape if I don't want it. I can also come over here with the shape that I have selected. Let me go ahead and click on it once again down here. As you see, I have a shape layer and I can add an effect to it. So I'm going to right click on the shape layer and we're going to go to effect and we will go to stylize and we'll put a glow. So we have a nice glow on it. And what we could do, of course, is we can increase the radius of this glow. And it's kind of an eerie green, which is kind of cool for now. Of course, you can change that later on. You can always go to the fill and you can change that to something more appropriate for a nighttime scene. I'll just try to find something that looks like a moon. Hit OK. And I'm going to also take this shape layer. I'm going to click and drag so that it is between the Mage Tower and the background. So as you see here, it lives in the middle. So when I deselect that, we get this really kind of cool moon. So let's go ahead and choose the shape layer, which is the moon. And I'll go ahead and hit enter or return and we'll type moon here so we know what we're dealing with. And with the moon selected, I'm going to just move it over, maybe right about there. Now I'm going to enable the stopwatch and I can move my timeline and put it in a different location like so. Now this is where I want it to wind up. And I'm going to go to the first keyframe again. And when I drag it back to where it belongs, and I always animate backwards, by the way, you may have noticed that if you check out my earlier After Effects courses, but it makes more sense for me to do it this way. Just keeping in the traditional way of animating where we have two keyframes. So no matter how I arrive at the situation or the solution, it works. So I'm going to go ahead and scrub now, and we've automatically animated that. Now, of course, with this mode on, I could still keep animating. So I might want the moon to maybe get larger or smaller. So let's say on this frame here, I'm going to go ahead and increase the shape or size of it like so. And when I animate, come over to the other frame and we'll scale it down. And you see that the object changes shape. So not only are we animating the position, but also the shape of the object. And I go ahead and scale it down just a little bit more, just to show you that. Go ahead and just drop it down just a tad more. Really make it apparent that we're doing this. And we scrub and it's massive, and then it shrinks. As you would expect, we can go anywhere in between our animation and continue moving the thing. So let's say we want the moon to rise up a little bit like so, because it's a crazy moon. And maybe all the way over the end, we can, move it down like this. What we could do, by the way, with this animation is we can control how smooth this Bezier curve works here. As you can see, this handle is pointing straight out, but this one's pointing out in this direction, which gives us this kind of awkward curve. So I can grab this handle and move it up and kind of get a better curve here. I can also change the start and end positions of my animation at any time, as you see here. So I'll go ahead and scrub again. So we have a massive moon shrinking down to a little tiny moon. And that's all because we have auto keyframes enabled. Once you're done, just go ahead and click on the stopwatch again, and now you have your animation. I'm going to go ahead and deselect by clicking anywhere down here to check this out. And that is a look at how you can use auto keyframes.